Hey there, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to get right to this training so we can be in and out here in 20 minutes. Thank you for your time. Our title of the training is Getting Prepared for Your Accountant. And give me just 1 minute so I can move that screen off. Hello, I am Kebie Whitehead, and I'm excited about our training today. And some of you may be tonight, and if you're watching the recording, you may be in the morning. Lots of folks will be watching this training on a replay. Thank you for joining live. And it's great to join live because at the end, I'll actually unmute you guys and open up for any questions. So the title of the training is Getting Prepared for Your Accountant, and I say life with a write-off. So the purpose is truly to help you get your taxes in order if you have a 1099 business. So my background is healthcare. I do software training. I'm on the analyst side of revenue cycle. And I'm also a network marketer. I have other multiple 1099 businesses that I run on the side. And let me tell you, the 1099 has truly helped me with my W-2 income, and I hope I can share that with you tonight. My passion is training. Like I said, I love network marketing. That industry has allowed me to partner with many people, awesome people across the world. And also I do social media training. I'm a coach for social media, and that has allowed a lot of partnerships and relationships over time as well. So thank you again for joining. The next screen that pops up here, it's running a little slow. I wanted to share with you guys my YouTube channel because I'm going to mention a couple videos to watch in relation to our tax training that are saved as favorites on my YouTube. And then another pro to that is that you can watch my videos as they go out and they're released, and this taxes training will be live and recorded as well, so you can have that replay link. So subscribe. My YouTube channel is Kebie7485. If you go to YouTube, you can search and find me there. Also, I'd love to connect on Facebook if we're not already connected. And be sure and check out my website, KebieWhitehead.com. My book is there as well. I'm also a published author. So just some things about me to let you know really where I'm at in the industry and how I've used all these businesses on the side to give myself a tax break. So if you can imagine all the income I've earned from different outlets and being able to write off against it. So anyway, be sure and check me out on those places. I've had multiple years in the industry. I've earned lots of extra income on the side. I am a W-2 employee as well. I do revenue cycle, like I said, for a software company. I serve hospitals, physician offices. So I've got a lot going on. In the industry, I've earned free trips and multiple cars. I don't say that to brag. I say that to tell you that it takes a lot of hard work and effort, but it's not about how much money you earn, it's how much money you keep. And that's what the training's about tonight. It's about how much money you keep. And all of this has come from my network marketing, home-based businesses, not my W-2, because we know about the W-2, we're going to be paying taxes on that money as it comes in. So now let's get to it. I told you about the video. I highly recommend you watch the Sandy Botkin video. I believe the title of that is Lower Your Taxes. It's under my favorites. If you follow me on Facebook or my blog, if you go to my website, you will see that video mentioned a lot. I love that video because he talks about what I'm talking about. If you are a W-2 employee and have a 1099, you're literally brain dead if you don't have the 1099 tax write-offs. So, and I say you just don't know what you don't know, right? I didn't know better before. I didn't have a 1099 home-based business. I just didn't know better. But what he goes on to say is that you're literally throwing thousands out the door. It's out the window every month. And Sandy Botkin worked for the IRS. He's a CPA, but he specializes in home-based business. I really like his services. I will talk about my accountant and who I use, but just giving you some third-party validation and some things that go along with the training. Now, I want to just say that I am not an accountant, and I want to repeat that. I am not an accountant. I'm going to be training tonight on how to get prepared for your accountant. So when we talk about going to use an accountant, this is like tip one. This is a golden nugget. This will save you thousands of dollars. You want to make sure that you're using someone who understands tax law. If you don't have an accountant or you don't know where to start with that, email me. I can give you a recommendation at the end. I'll give you my email, or message me, however you want to get in touch. It doesn't matter where you live. My accountant has served lots of clients I have, from Texas to California to just multiple states. I think Arizona, she's doing taxes for someone there. Because when you go through my training here, I'm going to get you ready for Pam, is her name. And then, so not only are you going to save money, but you're going to save money with her because you're going to have all your stuff together. The more we can do before we give our accountant, the less it's going to cost us. And secondly, just to go back about someone who understands tax law, I have helped hundreds of people on my team who went through my training, and they say, well, I went here, I don't want to name names, but I went here and they didn't really give me write-offs. They said the home-based business thing didn't work, or they said, well, I didn't earn enough money, so I couldn't expense, and it was just excuse after excuse. These people did not know what they were talking about, because those same teammates I routed to Pam, who knows tax law. She's been doing my taxes ever since I've had 1099 income with home-based business, and she's got them literally $3,000 to $5,000 more, and some even more than that. That's very conservative. So just hundreds of people who had lost money for going to the wrong accountant. So this training isn't to push an accountant on you. It's just to train you on making sure that you consult a CPA who knows tax law. And they all know it. They went to school. But it's just like, if you don't use it, you lose it. And what people don't specialize in, they forget. So I think that's what's going on anyway. But I recommend you hire an accountant that understands home-based business tax laws. Now, I know you guys are plugging in. Some of you are in Canada and other countries. I do not know laws in those countries. This is really a prep for the U.S. From my understanding, Canada kind of lines up with us, but you'll want to, take my training, take this feedback, and go back to someone in Canada who is licensed accountant. And I don't know if that's the words they use there, but I just want to let you know that as well, that this is really training for the U.S. And what we do here in the States. So now I recommend you pay attention. I hope you have been paying attention. I hope I'm not rambling here, but that's just kind of some things I want to get out of the way and some recommendations going forward here. So I want to talk about real quick my testimony. Just going back before I had a 1099, before I had a home-based business, I had a job. My husband had a job. We had one kid. We had a house we could deduct, and literally we got back about $3,000 a year. That's with both of us working, claiming a kid, having daycare, just having those odds and ends write-offs. Then we got a 1099, a home-based business in our life. My first year in network marketing, nothing changed. Jason and I had the same jobs. We had a kid. We had a house. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed was my home-based business. We got back a refund over $12,000. Now, I'm not making promises here. I never make financial claims for you. What I'm saying is we tripled our money, because not only did we get a refund, we made money in that home-based business that we didn't have to pay taxes on, which really we paid taxes, just that we were expensed out. So we expensed against. And I just want to give you kind of a scenario so you can see why I'm passionate about training on this and why I want you to take this to your prospects, to your team. If someone has shared with me the tax write-off in network marketing, I'd have joined over that before any product or any company or any comp plan. Just the write-offs alone are incredible for a family with a W-2. Okay, so what I want to share with you real quick. No, I'm not going to go there yet. Sorry. I want to talk about some other success stories of people who took this training. Some folks on my team have plugged in. They've went through the training. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes here in just a minute. And like one guy is a teacher. He got back about $2,000 a year. He was single, W-2, had a 1099 home-based business, went to the wrong accountant, got nothing back. Then went through my training, and he texted me and said, okay, my refund was $6,000, and he had made about $5,000 in his home-based business. So that's a total of $11,000 in his pocket. See, I get so excited about it. People are literally throwing thousands of dollars out each month if they don't have a home-based business and they have a W-2. So we need to educate people. We need to, number one, walk the walk, go through the motion, have our success story, understand what we need to do to get prepared for the accountant, and then start talking about this. So I am so thankful for my home-based business and the tax savings that I've had personally. You guys can hear the passion in my voice about that. So it's time to be getting this video out to our team. So if they're not on tonight, we want to, make sure we're on YouTube and we get that link once I get it posted up. So let's go through a couple requirements. Before I go through the screens of things you need to prep for your accountant, the number one rule, and what my accountant always asks me against any receipt, against any mile, against anything that I am expensing is, did I have intent to earn money? So I want to tell you another story. I had a guy who sat down with me, saw a business presentation. He really wanted a tax write-off, and his question was, how can I get a tax write-off and do nothing? And I said, you can't. You're not joining my team and doing that, because I want to guide people the right way. I told him you must have intent to earn money. If not, the IRS would look at your business as a hobby. You do not want that. You want income. You want more income year after year. But understand, business has loss. 2 to 5 years, your loss is going to happen. And maybe it don't happen for you, but I'm saying it's okay if it happens. But then we want to have that intent to earn money. And hopefully you're on the webinar tonight, or you're watching this recording and you're here because you want to earn money. Like, that's why you get up and do what you do. But I have to say that out loud, because I don't want anyone to ever be dishonest or lie or cheat on your taxes, because I promise you will get caught and you will not win against the IRS. What we want to do is make sure we save our receipts, we give credit to the things we have intent to earn money on, and we just back it up. We have that support to back up. And then if we're ever audited, it's okay, because we backed up and supported what we're doing here. So I want to ask you, are you working your business every day? Do you have intent to earn money? For me, that answer is yes, yes. Everyone is a potential prospect. I literally have a life of the write-off. But again, my accountant always asks, did you intend to make money? Let me give you another example. We went to the beach. It's about 4 hours away from North Carolina. We went to South Carolina Beach. And I had attended a training. I did a business presentation. But my family went too, so we made it a vacation. When I sat down with Pam and I showed her my trip, because by the way, out of town stuff you'll learn is at 100%, okay? Meals, miles, hotel fees, training fees, all that kind of stuff. So when I sat down, I said, here's our vacation, but I had a training, I had a business presentation, I actually met with a teammate there. So she said, okay, we need to do 50%. So 50% of the total bill was an expense. The other 50 was a vacation. So just look at your expenses that way and ask yourself, did I have intent to earn money? Did I have intent to learn to earn money, right? And with that, it answers another question. Some people ask, well, what if I don't make a lot of money in my business? Or what if I make no money in my business? Again, Do you have intent to earn money? And where are you at? Are you in your 2 to 5 years of your business, right? Every business experiences a little loss. Hopefully yours won't. I'm not speaking that over your business. I'm just saying that it's okay, because that is that's okay in the IRS's eyes, right? Again, it's, did you have intent to earn money? Is your business a hobby or is it a business, right? And if you watch my list training on my YouTube channel, your list is your business plan. So like, do you have a list of names? Are you talking to people? Are you working through that? If you're ever audited, you need a business plan. Do you have a notebook with names? Do you have a notebook showing where you're going in your business, right? I mean, it's no difference if you own a sandwich shop, or do you have an inventory? Do you have tomatoes, bread, cheese? You know, are those expenses coming in? Do you have a business plan? You've got to have the same thing with your home-based business, right? And so now I'm going to explain the write-off against W-2. This is where I was getting ahead of myself a minute ago. I want to explain this to you. Let's say that you earned in your home-based business, your 1099 network marketing business, last year, $10,000, okay? But you have expenses that equal $20,000, just in meals, miles, and we're going to go through the meat of that in a minute, but just hear me out on that, okay? If you have a W-2, well, first off, if you earn the 10 grand, and you have 20 grand in expenses, that just washed the 10 out. So that 10,000 you earned, you don't pay tax on, okay? Now there's 10,000 left over in expenses. This is where W-2 is, people get the real benefit. That 10,000 goes as a negative expense or a negative income. So you take 10,000 off of your W-2. So if you've paid tax on that money, guess what? It's coming back in your house. This is a big deal, guys. So this is what we need to be educating people on, sharing this training so that they're ready to get organized, to close their months out, and be ready for their accountants with intent that they're earning money. Okay, so let's stay focused. I'm going to go a little quick here. This is what we've got to have. Number one, we've got to file. Stay organized, file, scan your receipts, especially if they begin to fade. Take pictures of it with your phone. However you want to organize yourself, stay on top of this. What happens to people is they get 3 and 4 months behind, and then they throw their hands up. Look, I don't care how far you are behind. You take a Saturday or a Sunday, you sit in the floor, you organize yourself, and you stay a month ahead. For example, if I'm in the month of July now, I'm working on June, and I'm closing June out. I'm always, closing my month and staying ahead. If you're extremely behind, because I know we're like in September now, so if you're 9 months behind, I say take a crash night, a crash day, put yourself in a room and get yourself together. Get organized and stay on top of it. If you stay on top of it, it's not stressful. If you wait, it gets stressful. And another thing, just tip, don't ever ask for extensions, things like that. Don't do that. Like, stay on top of it and go and get your numbers to your accountants, right? So what I do is I close my month and I take my numbers to the accountant. I don't take all the receipts, things like that. That's for me to keep at home and filed. Again, like restaurant receipts, normally I scan those because some of them fade. So I'll take time to scan those in and put them on a zip drive, and I save that information. Okay, so the next slide is actually going to show you guys just some real life stuff. I like to show, this is the numbers that I would take to my accountant. So this is for 1 month. This was my mileage, product, and I'm going to go through all this in the next couple slides, but these are just amounts of things that I had for this month. Product, event trainings, hotel and travel, meals like home parties, website fees, webinar fees, internet, cell phone, advertising, office supplies. So your numbers could be larger than mine, could be less, but again, all of this is for real
Like that cell phone bill, when I'm calling out of the country, you see mine's pretty high, but I have intent to earn money out of global teams. My internet is solely for my home-based business. I would not have internet if it wasn't for that. So that internet bill is for my home-based business. Webinar fees. Webinars are for my home-based business 100%. But anyway, we'll get there. We'll break this stuff up. I just wanted you to see this. So again, keep up with your receipts. Track it daily, weekly, monthly, however it makes sense to you. Use staple things together or use paper clips. Label things that if you had to go back and look, would you know what the heck it was? Like I'm always filing something and I don't label it and I'm like going through it. That save time by labeling. What I do is dump everything in an envelope for the month and I label on the top the month, the year, and then the amounts. And then I take a copy of that to my accountant, not the stuff in the envelope, but the outside of the envelope, and we have everything totaled up. There's great tools out here like, TaxBot is Sandy Botkin's tool, Excel spreadsheets. I'm a paper person. I sit here at my desk while I'm working. I work on my tax stuff and I just write it all down. And I like scanning. That's just my preference. But do what works for you to keep yourself organized. So let's talk about, these are the meat and potatoes. So number 1 was file. What do we need to file? Well, number 2, mileage. When you're looking at mileage, you track all your mileage with intent to earn money by what, when, where, and who. Where were you going? When? What did you do? With who? And you want to write all that down on your receipts. So if you met Linda for a business presentation, you would write on that receipt, Linda, business presentation, and then on the receipt you should have the date and time where you were at. And that goes great together if you were out to eat, and then you can track the meal and the mile. Sometimes you go and you don't eat food, right? And that's fine, but you track your mileage. What's important is the what, when, where, and who. Keep a calendar. I write everything on paper. I print like a Yahoo calendar out and I write it down. You guys can keep it electronic. You can keep it through TaxBot, Excel, whatever. But one thing I do is if I go somewhere, a lot of my meetings are reoccurring. So if I travel on Thursday nights to High Point, North Carolina, it's the same address. Every Thursday I'm there. That's simple. It's a reoccurring event. It's on my calendar. Rail trip. But if I go somewhere like in Charlotte, just for a Saturday training, somewhere I would never go or have been, I want to include that MapQuest or Google Maps with the round trip. That's just me. I'll include it in there one time, and that's it. That's how I keep track of my mileage. But just keep in mind that your mileage counts for meetings, home parties. If you go to like a teammate member's house, if you go for a training somewhere, a seminar, conference, don't forget if you're mailing samples or maybe you're putting up flyers, brochures, I mean, whatever you're doing in your business, that mileage counts. If you have intent to earn money in your business, that mileage counts. So just keep that in mind. And I'll give you an example. When I worked a job outside of the house, and I would go to lunch with someone I work with, but I talked to my business, that mileage to and from my job that day become a mileage write-off. I also talked to my team about, making sure they're plugged into training. Training is a big deal. You can get a lot of expense through training. So if you have a seminar 4 hours away that maybe your company offers, go to it. You need to be there anyway to learn, but the mileage alone is going to save you in expenses. So meals, same thing. If you have a receipt for a meal, it's what, when, where, and who. Make sure you put that information on your receipt. You save the receipt. I always say include the itemized information, just so you don't get hung up with, alcohol and things like that. Just be mindful of the itemized receipt. Map it up to the calendar. What I do each month when I close out, I take all my meal receipts, put them in day order,
And then I write on my calendar, okay, I was here at this restaurant and I met this person. You know, I truly have intent to earn money. It really did happen. But I want to organize myself to the meal to the mile, right? Because sometimes you forget that you went out to eat and you met, you know, somebody, a team member for training, or you met someone to talk about the business. That mileage and that meal is tax deductible. Don't forget leadership meals and dinners. If you're there with your team, if you're at a training, a seminar, conference, all that, the out of town meals, if you're like out of your state especially, that's 100% write off, where a lot of the meals are like 30 to 50% depending on your accountant when who you're talking to. Don't forget your post office receipts and supplies, things like that. Another thing with the meals I like to mention, if you do a home party or maybe something in your house for your team, and you're feeding them, your groceries become a write-off. Now, what I do, and you'll see at the end, I'll show you an example. I just go through and highlight the things that I use. I have a weekly training at my house and a weekly home party. And when I'm doing that, like every week, I am highlighting things that I serve. We do a lot of finger foods. We do, you know, I need the napkins and, you know, things like that, condiments, drinks, anything that I'm serving to my team. I highlight that and total it up on my groceries as well. And that goes in with meals, okay? Supplies for your business, any electronics, computers, printers, scanners. If you bought those items for your home-based business, save the receipts. And that includes iPads, tablets. Don't forget apps. Like I use Tape-A-Call, that's like a monthly fee. Any apps that you're using for training, those monthly, especially monthly amounts, make sure you're printing those. If you have to buy ink and you're using that to print things in your business like flyers, applications, product sheets, that kind of thing, make sure you're, you know, taking that expense. If you go to the post office and you're mailing samples, don't forget the supplies you use, like the folders, the bubble wrap, things like that. Pens, paper, I'm trying to want to list anything I could for you. Just, you know, make sure you're giving yourself that expense. Now, we bought a TV, a flat screen TV for our team. In our home where we do our team trainings. But we also watch TV on it too. So my accountant said, okay, we'll do 30%. If you have 30% of the time you're using it for team trainings and events, the others for personal. So work that out with your accountant. Just be honest and let them know, hey, I bought this computer, 50% of the time it's for, you know, my kids' homework. My kids are on it, and the other 50% I'm taking it to meetings. So don't forget that it can be like a dual thing, right? And you can take that percent off. Okay, let's talk about products or services. If you're in a home-based business, I hope you have a product or service. You will have one if it's a real home-based business, right? And you're getting the tax write-off of 1099. If you're buying those products and services, which you do have to buy in to earn money in most companies, make sure you tell your accountant, okay, well, I'm on an auto ship or a reorder every month, and half of the product I use personally, and the other half I take to meetings. I do a display of it. I give samples away. Make sure, you know, you're looking at that. Some people, 100% of their product goes into their business. They're not using it personally. They're using it just to take and sample. So be honest with yourself about that. Don't forget banners, logos. If you're doing vendor booths, anything that you needed to put that together, save those receipts. If you're giving out samples, of course, or even gifts. We do a lot of gift cards on our team. I know one year we did a Yeti. People could earn that Yeti cooler. That was a write-off because that was a gift to our team. Other products and services monthly are like any website fees. If you have that through your company,
To give you an example, I have KebieWhitehead.com, but that is not a Zija website. That is for my social media coaching. So that would tie into the expense against that income. But if you have a website for Zija, or not Zija, I shouldn't say Zija, maybe that's the company I'm in. If you're on the training, you're at a different company, whatever your company is, they may charge you for website fees, maybe not. Maybe you have your own personal website, you can tax deduct that. Again, apps, I always say that because people forget. I was looking at my paper here. I have 3 apps I pay for monthly. One is like storage, one is Tape-A-Call, and then I have this training app every month. And through my company, we used to have an app, but now it's free. But before then, I saved the receipts. So don't forget about that. Those monthly reoccurring things can be a write-off. Any back office fees through your company, any renewal fees, and of course your initial startup fee is all tax deductible. So you save those receipts and close it out with that year. Training's a big thing. My accountant always asks me when I do my taxes, okay, what kind of training we got? That's first. Like mileage is big. The next thing is trainings. Because the IRS looks at home-based business, or any business for that matter, and they know you have to be trained. You have to have special skill sets. Even if you bought a franchise, you would have training fees, and those are tax deductible. Any business has training. So save your receipts to any trainings. If you went to KebieWhitehead.com and you decided to do social media coaching, that training's is a tax write-off, because you need that for your home-based business, for any business, in my opinion. Any of your company events, regional events, any of your local events, seminars, if you take an online course and you're paying for that, save your receipts. Any books that are related for the intent of earning money, right? Like I say that, I don't want to be loose about that, but real, we can't tax write off like Charlotte's Web, that's not going to help you with training. So think about your books you're buying, and are they about the industry? Are they to help you improve in your home-based business? Audio CDs, apps, again, online trainings, anything like that, any boot camps, team events, leadership events. I hope I covered everything. Just anything that'll help you grow personally in your business, save those receipts for write-offs. Now, home office square footage. There are pros and cons. I always say ask your accountant what's best for you. I personally write off home-based square footage. I do like 30% of the room, and that's just me. But if you do decide to go that route, because again, there's pros and cons, you'll need to ask your accountant on that. You can tax write off a portion of your mortgage or rent, the space, power, water, garbage pickup, any cleaning services, home phone, landscaping. So all that would tie in to the home office square footage. Don't forget internet and cell phone. And by the way, you can have that dual usage. For example, internet might be split in half, so you only did 50% of your bill for your home base and the other went to family use, right? And I say, hey, you're paying it anyway. You're going to be paying the internet and cell phone bill. I don't know anybody who doesn't have an internet or cell phone bill, but now you can just tax right off. So expense that. Another little tip, as you're closing out the month, you can print all these bills like monthly, but things like internet, cell phone, my home base office, all these year-to-date types, I just go to my online banking and I can type in like AT&T and it gives me everything I paid. Or you could pull up your cell phone carrier and they will print out a year-to-date total. I think those statements are available too. So just a little tip on that you can do a year-to-date total, print it out, file it away, you've got it, and you can divide it in by the month and by the percent that you and your accountant agree on. But again, take the stuff back to your accountant. let them know the percentage you feel you use for business on both. Don't forget, if you have any Wi-Fi cards or built-in Wi-Fi and you're using it for business, like an iPad or tablet, if you're taking those with you for business and you're paying those extra fees, that's important to tax write-off. Just a tip here, people do not have to sign up to take the expense. I have people ask me that all the time. So I met Bob at the restaurant, but he didn't sign up. So you met Bob, you had intent to earn money, right? Again, it falls back on, do you have intent to earn money? So I promised you a slide with just a couple of examples. You can see that most of these have some kind of notation, these receipts. Looking at the one for Amanda, I met Amanda. That is also cross-referenced to my mileage. Travel meals are like if I had out of town, but I had to stop through drive-through. It happens. We save the receipt. Here's a Walmart receipt, and you can see where I highlighted. All the highlighted in orange is things I needed for my team training. It's dated and totaled. So this is kind of how I do it. Then I stuff it in the envelope, and I have my meals, my miles. I close out my month. I put all my receipts in that envelope. And anything that's beginning to fade, I start to scan. It usually preserves pretty well in the envelopes. But if things are starting to smear, I'm going to scan it because I need it in there for a while. Here's like the front of my envelope. I'm always closing out my food, my supplies, office supplies, and all those receipts are stuffed in there. Okay, guys, so I promised we did. I hope I kept it to 20 minutes. I don't even have the time. But I hope that you found value in the training. Again, when you take your taxes to your accountant, just make sure you have intent to earn money. And when you get that big old fat refund, make sure you're tag me on Facebook or send me an email. Here's my email, kebie13@yahoo.com. Let me know if this training added value. Don't forget to check out my website, kebiewhitehead.com. And I just want to thank you for joining. Make sure you connect with me. I hope to see you on Facebook. I hope to get a message from you soon as you're closing your months and you're doing your taxes. If this video did help, if this training did help, please let us know. We'd love to share the testimonies. Okay, with that, be blessed. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you on the recording. Make sure you get that recording out to your team.